What you should know before starting a podcast. First, don't try to make a radio program. Radio is talking to everyone, to all the people, and everyone can hear it. And podcast is talking directly to the one and only person in the audience. Podcasts are built for the headphone generation. So be gentle, be warm. Second rule, a good podcast is a good pitch. Answer the question, what is your story about? Formulate the answer to this question with a couple of sentences. And then ask yourself, would you listen to it? And then talk to 5 colleagues or friends or family members. Would they listen to this? A good podcast always has something happening here and now, right in your ears. If it is an interview, then the guest must remember or formulate right here something that he has never said before. He has to think in front of you while answering your questions, be embarrassed, laugh. We may learn something from him or learn something about him and not you. If it is a reality show, you should be recording everything that is happening in order to give the audience the opportunity to hear the real life. You run from home to a bomb shelter. You convince an investor to give you money, or you ask your grandmother for forgiveness. Whenever you do, give the audience the opportunity to hear this real stuff that is happening right now. Rule number 4, you must be interested. You must be interested in what you are doing. Because if you are interested, the audience will follow you. If it is a conversational podcast with the same people from episode to episode, they should interest each other. They should be talking and trying to find something new from each other in every episode. If this is an investigation, your main ambition is to get to the bottom of the truth, find answers to a question, figure it out, and tell, or better, let audience hear how you did it. Rule number 5, a good podcast is very visual. It is a movie for your ears. The listener imagines the characters, how they look like, where they are. Help them. Help your listeners with this. Describe the gestures, the facial expression of the people in the podcast, how they look like. If this is a report, then tell where you are yourself. What is happening around? What do you see? What the weather is like? What people next to you look like? Help your listeners to imagine. Rule number 6, good sound. This sounds obvious, but this is very important and crucial for a podcast. You can record it on your smartphone, but think about how it sounds. Is there an extra noise you should put away during editing? Is it possible to put it away? Maybe it's better to re-record it. Just think that most of the times your audience will be hearing you with a headphone. Your sound should be clear and gentle. Rule number 7, edit. But to edit, you have to be a very good listener. Is it really an important stuff? Or you just like it, but it doesn't work to make the whole story interesting? Then cut. And to cut better, you have to listen and re-listen and maybe ask someone else to listen what you just did and then edit once again. Rule number 8. And now stop editing. You cannot edit forever. It's much more important to release your podcast regularly. Rule number 9. Do not admire yourself. Getting attention is not the best reason to start a podcast. The world is run by people who speak well, but to have something to tell, turn on your curiosity. Look for heroes and stories. And the last, a good podcast unites, gathers around a community of like-minded people. Think about it. And then releasing a podcast, try to spread it, to tell the world about it. And if the podcast is good, the community grows. And if it doesn't grow, and if no one is listening to your podcast, then start from the very beginning and think about your pitch. This is the most important to start a good podcast.